All right, welcome everyone to DES 242 Logo and Identity Design. I am your graphic arts instructor, Shannon McNamara. So this is our second live session for the week, and I have a couple of things that I want to go over before we really jump into that demo of assignment 2, which I think is going to be a fun demo. I'm really excited to do this one today because I'm going to do it a little bit different than how I usually do it. So for me, that'll be fun. It's always fun to do something a little bit different when you teach the same classes all the time. I like to change it up a bit. So in your week 2 discussion for this week, as I was discussing yesterday, two of your responses to your fellow students, I will allow you to leave a critique for your fellow students. And what I've done is I have put everybody's PDFs together and linked them to my Creative Cloud. So there's a link right in the discussion, and it will bring up this documentcloud.adobe.com, and it's a link to the PDF. So I'm teaching 2 courses. So there's 2 different PDFs. Each one is for each course that I'm in. So I just kind of wanted to open them both up in case if people were like, wait a minute, that's not what mine looks like when I click on the link. The only problem is it put everybody's PDFs in order, but it didn't kind of let you know, like, all right, this was page 1, page 2, page 3, page 4 of a specific PDF. So it might be a little bit confusing. If it says company keywords, you can, in the original, you can assume that was just their cover page. If you want to make comments on their sketches, if you see a sketch that you really liked, what you can do is you can click on the add a sticky note. You can highlight text, you can underline text, you can use the drawing tool and kind of draw and make any comments that you would like. Make sure if it doesn't show your name for the comment that you put your name at the end so I can give you credit for doing this if that's going to, if you're going to need that for credit for your discussion post for this week. You still need to do the original discussion post, but with the original questions that are being asked, but this can be your if you do 1 critique or 2 critiques, it can be either your 1 response to a student or both your responses to a student. So again, you can, add a sticky note and say something like, I really like the direction that this sketch is heading in. I'd like to see this one as an illustration. Those are the types of responses that I usually leave. But where, you need to have a 50-word response, I would like you to really get into what you like about it, what you think could be worked upon, what you might like to see, the direction that you could see it going in. Really give a true critique. Don't just respond to 2 people and say, I like it, and think that that's going to count as a response. You need to have at least 50 words in your response. So keep that in mind, please. And again, just make sure that you can see your name. If not, it should let you edit it. If you accidentally post something in the wrong place, you can delete it, things like that. And then you could just click done when you're done, and click on finish, and that's really all you need to do. So again, that can count as one of your 2 responses for this week. So if you would like to do that, please, feel free. Again, just make sure you have the full 50 words. Let me see. I don't think I have really any announcements except for the link from yesterday to the live session and the slides. We went over the other announcements during yesterday's live session. That's good. Oh, that one was yours? Awesome. Awesome. All right, so a reminder, my telephone hours, I switched the slide, but my telephone hours are basically Monday through Wednesday, 7 a.m. Mountain Time to 2 p.m. Mountain Time, which is 9 to 4 my time, Eastern Standard Time. You can email me anytime, but if you are trying to call, those are probably the best times to try to call. Just note that I am located, again, in Eastern Standard Time Zone, so just be aware of that time zone change when you are trying to reach me. And a reminder about due dates, assignments, and assessments are due by Saturday for full credit. Make sure you're communicating regarding late work. That will save you missed points. Week 4 assignments cannot be turned in late. If anything happens, please make sure that you email your assignment to me so I have it first thing Sunday morning. Your original discussion posts are due Wednesday at midnight, and make sure that you're responding to 2 of your fellow students by Saturday and posting on 2 different days. And as far as late discussion posts and assignments, they'll only be accepted 1 week after the deadline, and then they do close out. So be aware of those deadlines. You can check them out. Like, let's go into the week 1 assignment, because that's the one. You'll see it's available April 15th through April 27th at midnight. So that's April 27th is Saturday. As far as week 2, you will notice it is open from April 15th through May 4th. So it extends into the week 3 deadline. So just kind of keep that in mind, how those deadlines work. And again, our live sessions are Mondays and Tuesdays at 11:30 a.m. Mountain Time. This gives you ample time during the week to get those assignments done. If you do need any outside help, the Student Success Center is open with tutoring available and no appointment is necessary. So before we really get into the demo for week 2, I think what I'm going to do is go through all of my slides first, and then that way I can kind of use the rest of the time to do the demo and the designing and all the fun stuff. So we talked about this a little bit in week 1, brands versus logos. What is a brand? And this is how a brand differs from a logo. The brand is the perceived emotional corporate image as a whole. So when you think of Amazon, the brand, versus Amazon, the logo, there's a real difference in how you think of the two, correct? When you think of Amazon, the logo, you think of the word Amazon, and it has that the arrow that makes the smiley face that's going from the letter A to the letter Z, and that's the logo. But when we think of Amazon, the brand, we're thinking of everything about Amazon. We think of prime delivery, meaning, I know that I can go on Amazon, order what I need, and it's going to be here by Thursday because I pay for Prime. I think of, if Amazon doesn't have it, it probably doesn't exist. I think of Whole Foods now when I think of Amazon because they bought Whole Foods. I think of low prices, good customer service. That's what I think about when I think of Amazon as the brand. I think about how I feel about them. I always feel that some people hate Amazon because they feel like they're putting small businesses, out of business, little mom and pop shops, or they're putting, brick and mortar stores out of business. And I understand that. And part of me says, oh yeah, you know what? It's easy to target them and say Amazon's the bad guy. But at the same time, I'm over here ordering from Amazon, and I'm not going to the mom and pop shop, so I can't really get mad at Amazon now, can I? I can, any more than I can get mad at myself for not going to those stores. You can't, unfortunately, you can't halt progress, and we're all busy, and there's a reason why Amazon does so well, because we're all so busy that's why we use it. So again, there's that emotional connection to the brand. You might not have an emotional connection to the logo, although some people do. So the first definition of brand is the name given to a product or service from a specified source. Used in this sense, brand is similar to the current meaning of the word trademark. And with the rise of packaged goods in the 19th centuries, producers put their mark on a widening array of products such as cough drops, flour, sugar, beer, and it indicated the source, so where the product was coming from. In the late 1880s, for example, as the Coca-Cola company was starting to get started, there were many soda producers in every market, and before Coca-Cola could get a customer to reach for a Coke, it needed to be sure that the customer could distinguish a Coke from all the other soda out there. So in the first sense of the word, a brand is simply the non-generic name for a product that tells us the source of the product. So a Coke is a fizzy caramel colored soda concocted by the folks in Atlanta. However, there are times where the brand kind of becomes the packaged good. Do you call any brand of lip balm chapstick? I do. I call every brand of lip balm. Whether it is Burt's Bees, I don't even buy the chapstick brand. I buy the Burt's Bees brand almost all the time, or the Blistex, or the EOS or whatever it is brand. But I call them all chapstick. You probably call every cotton ear swab a Q-tip. So that's when the brand becomes so synonymous with what they make that they become that package no matter what the brand is. So you can tell that they were able to make their brand relevant. And there are a couple of different ways where you can make your brand relevant. First you have to have a vision. All brands have ebbs and flows. It's important for your brand to always understand the dynamics of the marketplace. Next, ask questions. One of the biggest challenges that brand managers have is the threat of becoming myopic. They begin to believe that they know exactly what their target consumer wants and what their motivations are. And that's a huge problem, and it happens all the time because consumers, we're fickle. We change our minds all the time. So if you assume that you know us and you don't have to change, you're going to lose us as a consumer. They need to be innovative. One of the biggest opportunities for older brands is to create a reason for existing customers and potentially new customers to rediscover the brand or take notice for the first time through innovation. And I can think of, a brand that's doing that right now. Coca-Cola, the soda company. They have new products that are really targeted just to millennials. They have that new orange vanilla cream soda. They have those tall, skinny Coke cans that are kind of like, really weird flavors. I personally don't drink soda. But every time I see one of those and I see the different packaging, I'm like, you know what? If I was somewhere and it was the only option, I would probably try it, even though I'm not a soda drinker. So they're innovating. And then next, take chances. One of the other biggest mistakes any brand manager can make is to say, well, we would never do that, or that won't work for my brand. You never know if it's going to work. Sometimes it's worth taking that chance and having it work. So you need to develop a simple and coherent brand message. And there are a lot of companies out there that have done that, and they've been wildly successful. McDonald's has I'm Loving It. Nike has Just Do It. Red Lobster has See Food Differently. Be creative. Your name, your tagline, your logo, they should not be, they should be, not be, they should be, hold on. That's wrong. They should be interesting and resonate with your audience. There we go. Get it out there. Consumers should see your brand a lot. Your brand should have a website. It should have social media accounts. You need to discover your brand's value proposition. What makes you better? What makes you different? market that, and then know your competition. You can't beat them if you don't know who they are. So then we have identity, which is the visual aspects that form part of the overall brand. So when we think about identity design, one major role in the brand or the corporate image of a company is its identity. In most cases, identity design is based around the visual devices used within a company, and it's usually assembled with a set of guidelines. So think of what we're making this week for our assignment. These guidelines that make up an identity usually administer how the identity is applied through a variety of mediums using approved color palettes, fonts, layouts, measurements, and so forth. These guidelines ensure that the identity of the company is kept coherent, which in turn allows the brand as a whole to be recognizable. The identity or image of a company is made up of many visual devices. There's the logo. So that's the symbol of the entire identity and brand. There might be stationery, which is letterhead, business cards, envelopes. There might be marketing collateral. Those could be your flyers, your brochures, books, websites, products and packaging. So if you sell something, that's, what the packaging in which it comes in. There could be apparel design, tangible clothing items that are worn by employees or tangible clothing items that you sell to customers. There can be signage, interior or exterior signs, messages and actions, those messages conveyed via indirect or direct modes of communication, and then even other communication, audio, smell, touch, anything visual that represents the business. But what do we see right up top? The logo. And chances are good, this logo is going to show up on the stationery. It's going to show up on the marketing collateral. It's going to show up on the products and packaging. It's probably going to show up on the apparel. It's probably going to show up on the sign. It might show up in the message or the, literally in a direct message that's sent. Or, anything visual that represents the business. So that logo is one of the most important parts of that identity, and that's why it's so important to get it right. So all of these things make up an identity and should support the brand as a whole. In the logo, however, that is the corporate identity and brand all wrapped up into one identifiable mark. And the mark is the avatar and the symbol of the business as a whole. So, it seems kind of late in the game to be talking about what is a logo, but I think it bears repeating. The logo identifies a business in its simplest form via the use of a mark or an icon. Remember in week 1, we were saying, we put a lot of pressure on the logo. We put a lot of stock in the logo, and we say this logo needs to represent A through Z. And that's a lot to put on a brand or a mark. But that's why we need a logo that's simple and recognizable, because if it's simple and recognizable, people will learn more about our brand because they will remember who we are because they see our mark everywhere. So again, to understand what a logo is, you need to first understand what it's for. It's for identification, ultimately. The logo identifies a company or product via the use of a mark, a flag, a symbol, or a signature. The logo does not sell the company directly, nor really does it describe a business. The logos derive their meaning from the quality of the thing it symbolizes, not the other way around. Logos are there to identify, not explain. I have another typo. I hate when that happens. Identify. I feel like I probably, last time I did this, just read the correct word and never went back and fixed it. So in a nutshell, what a logo means is more important than what it looks like. Although, we as designers, we need to understand that it is important what it looks like when we're designing it. As far as, the customer is concerned, they need to worry about how they can build their brand up. We can only go so far as building and creating a logo that is the simplest mark for their company. That's, that really is the best that we can do as graphic designers. And then it's up to the customer to really take it from there. That's ultimately that really is all we can do. So what makes a logo great? Because that's what we're really, really shooting for here. Simplicity. It allows for easy recognition. It's memorable. It makes an instant impact. It's enduring. It stands the test of time. It shouldn't feel dated or stylized. Remember how we went over that UPS logo in week 1 and how the original logo was, it stood the test of time. It didn't feel dated. It didn't feel stylized. And when UPS went in and they redesigned the logo, it felt I said, I think this logo looks like 2003. And then when I went back and looked, I was right. That was the year that it had been redesigned. It had such a style that it looked like the early 2000s to me. It should be versatile. It should work across all mediums, print, web, or TV, and it should be appropriate for its intended purpose. The logo that I'm redesigning for this class, the intended purpose of that logo is to go on those K-Cups. So if it doesn't work on the K-Cups, it's failing as a logo. So that's something that, we need to be aware of. A logo is not your brand, nor is it your identity. Logo design, identity design, and branding, they all have different roles that together will form that perceived image for a business or a product. All right, so we're going to be adding color this week. So it's really important to understand the psychology of color, especially when it comes to logos. And if you've taken a color theory course with me, I've used these slides in that course before because the information is so important that I actually share it in this class as well. According to research that was compiled by a web design and marketing company, WebPage FX, people make a subconscious judgment about a product in less than 90 seconds of viewing. And a majority of those people base that assessment on the color. In fact, almost 85% of consumers cite color as the primary reason that they buy a particular product, and 80% of people believe that color increases a brand's recognition. So when you're keeping, you need to keep that in mind when you're picking colors this week. Colors inevitably have a strong personality and emotion that most people, match up with that color. So when it comes to red, the personality or emotions that are associated with red are that it evokes a strong emotion. It's known to encourage appetite. Keep that in mind. Increase passion and intensity. And red roses, those symbolize love. In marketing, it increases the heart rate, so therefore it's used by restaurants to stimulate appetite. It can create a sense of urgency, often seen in clearance items, and it's used for impulse shoppers. When we see a big sale sign, it's usually in red. Politics, worldwide, it represents socialist parties or communists, but in the USA, it's used for Republicans. And then the chakra, it's located at the base of the spine, related to survival, safety, and the physical self. So here are some red logos, and there's a lot of them out there. McDonald's, Target, Kmart, Netflix, Kellogg's, the Frito-Lay and the Lay's, Nabisco, CNN, Time, Toyota, Coca-Cola, Nintendo, Adobe, so many different red logos out there. Then we have yellow. So this is known to increase cheerfulness and warmth, but it can cause fatigue and strain on the eyes. With that being said, you'll notice that the text that I have in this slide, it's not a true 100% yellow, because that would be really hard for you to read on a white background. And so keep that in mind if you decide to color your logo yellow and you decide to make the text yellow. There are going to be instances where your logo is on a white background, and that, you know, what if it's small and on a white background with yellow text? That can be really difficult to read. It can cause, you know, strain on the eyes. And even if you say to yourself, well, I can read it just fine. You know, I have glasses, and, you know, my prescription isn't even that strong. But at the end of the day, when I've been working on the computer all day, or I've been, you know, especially on days that I'm grading and I'm really, you know, kind of sitting on top of my screen, if I go on my phone and I start scrolling, if I cut to, you know, a company website and their logo was yellow or their text was yellow on a white background, that would be almost impossible at the end of a really long workday for me to be able to read what's even on the screen. So keep that in mind. You know, a lot of people wear glasses, and you know, they might have worse eyesight than you do. It's known to make babies cry. This is always the point that I make on the yellow slide is, you know, when we bought our house, it was before we had our kids, and it was a new build, so all the walls were white. And the first time we walked in the house, I said, I don't know, I feel like it's cold in here. And it was cold because all the walls were white, and, you know, there was gray and gray tile downstairs and gray tile upstairs. And you know, those are kind of neutral colors, and it just wasn't lending any warmth to the house. So we did decide to take to buy this house. And I said, you know what, we need to warm it up in here. Let's choose kind of a sunny yellow for the walls upstairs. And we did. And, you know, we painted all of the rooms that same color just to make it easy. But when we were having our daughter, I said to my husband, I said, we need to repaint her room. And he had asked me, well, why? Does it really need to be repainted? You know, I just painted these walls like a year ago. And I said, yeah. I said, because yellow is known to make babies cry. And he was like, really? Well, what color do you want? I said, you know, I was thinking a light purple, and he was in there. Oh, yellow makes babies cry? All right, hold on, let me repaint the room. So, and he did the same thing when we had our son. He was like, wait, you said yellow makes babies cry. What color do you want his room? And I was like, let's go with a light blue. You know, so if you have a child and they're crying all the time, maybe it's, if they have yellow walls, maybe it's the color of your walls. I don't know. It's known to stimulate mental processes in the nervous system. Maybe that's why, because, you know, babies are already trying to process so many things. Everything's new to them. Maybe that yellow wall is just one thing too much. It's known to encourage communication. In politics, it represents liberalism. In marketing, it represents optimism and youthfulness. It's used to grab attention of window shoppers. So you can see where I made that sale sign right there. It's yellow with the red text, you know, the two colors to grab your attention. And probably most sale signs you see are probably yellow with red text on them. It's known to show clarity. It's the solar plexus chakra. It's located in the upper abdomen between the navel and the sternum. And it's related to personal power, will, and self-esteem. So some yellow logos. Nikon, National Geographic, the Shell logo, the McDonald's arches. And you will notice one thing, except for the McDonald's arches here, which the words McDonald's are never really in yellow on their own on a white background. Every logo that has yellow in it has a different color with it. There's no just yellow logo. So kind of keep that in mind. Then we have blue. So this is associated with water, peace. It's a color supposedly most preferred by men, and that's probably due to, you know, us gender, you know, being gender specific with our colors now, or not so much now, but I feel like, you know, the 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, you know, we were like, blue is a boy's color and pink is a girl's color. And, you know, we talk about things having a pink tax if they cost more because they're pink, the pink version of it, you know, how women's razors cost more than men's razors. It could be the same razor, but, you know, the woman's version costs more, and we refer to it as that pink tax. So even though it's still for older men, it might be kind of preferred by men, you know, I think that that's starting to change. It's known to represent calmness and serenity, to curb appetite. It's known as a cold color. You know, it's on that side of the color wheel. It's known to increase productivity, so it's used a lot in office settings. Worldwide, it represents the Conservative Party, but in the US, we use it for Democrats. It's often used in corporate business because it's productive and non-invasive. It creates a sense of security and trust in a brand. And it's the throat chakra, so it's at the base of the throat, and it relates to communication, truth, and self-expression. And here we have some blue logos. So you'll notice almost all the social media logos are blue. And then we have JP Morgan, you know, a lot of the insurance logos are blue. So, you know, that sense of, you know, security and trust, there's a reason why they chose blue. And that was my last slide. All right, so I'm gonna get into our assignment for this week. And again, I feel like this is gonna be a really fun demo. So the first thing that I wanna do, and the first thing you should do, read over the background. I read over it yesterday, but make sure you read over it before you get going, and make sure that you know what it is that you need to have. I like to do things like come up with a checklist. So I'm just gonna make a new one. I use in my Mac the notes, the little yellow notepad application. And what I'll do is I'll actually copy and paste the bullet points, put them in, title bar, make sure I just have everything that I need. Master pages, a grid, and 10 pages. And then what you can do is you can actually turn this list into a checklist. If you select everything and hit the little checkbox, note to self, if you have an iPhone as well, this is such a great app for going grocery shopping, because you can just kind of check off everything while you're at the grocery store. And if you're the type of person like me who buys the same things every week, like every week you need milk, every week you need bread, then when it's, you know, time to go again, you can just uncheck it until you get there. So I just love this app. I love sharing things that I love too. All right. So you're going to make a multi-page PDF when you export it, but you need to create this in InDesign. So first thing I am going to do is I'm going to go in and make sure that my logo is ready to go. Let me open up Mod 4, 242, week 2. I was working on this yesterday. I remember I had scanned in the K-Cup. La, la, la. I do not want to help improve Adobe products today. Thank you. And this was where I had kind of left it yesterday. And it's still in black and white. I haven't come up with color yet. So I do need to start thinking about some colors. And, you know, because it's a coffee place, my first instinct might be to say, well, coffee, brown, like a mocha color, something like that. But by looking at the products that it's going to be put on, the logo, you know, a lot of the K-Cups I have noticed already have brown in them. So I don't want something that, you know, a brown logo that's going to get lost against the background of a brown K-Cup. So I'm going to look at something blue, I think. You know, because blue is the across the color wheel from orange, and orange and brown are kind of, you know, in the same color family in a way, and brown is kind of in the same area as blue on the color wheel. So when I'm trying to come up with my color scheme, I'm going to use Adobe Color to do this. And I think I'm going to actually go in, I drop this color, copy the hex code, and try to see what's across from it on the color wheel. So I'm going to go to color.adobe.com. Oh, and look, it's changed. I hate when they change their stuff. I'm not going to lie. Although the last update to Adobe Color was a nightmare. So maybe this will be a little bit better. Oh, it's a new color experience. Yay. Let's see. All right, so I'm going to look for something complementary, and my first color is going to be that color. So I need to look for things kind of across. Ooh, it's kind of like a, and honestly, these are the two colors, I'm not gonna lie, that I was kind of thinking of. I like these two. So, all right, save to my library. I did have something for DES 242. I'm going to name this Victor Allen Mod 4 and save. All right, I kind of like what they changed over here. Not going to lie. Oh, look at this. You can change it to CMYK now. This is a color experience. Save. Let's see. Let's see how well you show up, right? I don't trust Adobe until it actually works. All right, where is my library? Library, it says I have it open. Do I though? I hate the new, oh, here it is, yeah. 242, oh, here it is. All right, you showed up, hooray. So I'm gonna try to colorize it here so I can see it against the K-Cup, see how it looks. And I think I'm gonna go with the lighter blue for the, you know, that background V. And then seam, fill color, maybe the darker one. Let's look at, that might start to get lost though. I think I need it darker. Oh, that might be nice. A different color scheme that I had, but you know. So it's still that blue. And then maybe instead of having this light of a blue, maybe try that one to stand out. That might work. And you don't need a ton of colors. Don't think that you need to, you really only need 2 or 3 colors, honestly, for your logo. So keep that in mind. All right, so that looks nice. I think that stands out well. Still not, I'm not going to lie, I am still not 100% happy with this. I think I need to give a little bit more space here between these. Ugh. Do these one at a time, maybe to here. Oh, these never connected. Whoops. Fix that line work. Come on. It's probably why I was saying yesterday, I'm like, this looks a little weird, and I don't know why. That was probably why. Numbering this one down just a smidge. Oh, where's my pen? Really don't need all of these anchor points. All right, I think that still gives that illusion of the coffee cup. And I kind of like the white of it in the background there. So I can even do something like this. I really do not like these new icons. I can never find what it is I'm looking for. All right, there we go. I just want you to be lighter. Let's just bring down. Maybe 20% cyan. Which means I need to have this be completely spot on, and it was not. Remember, it counts in a logo because when you make this big, it's gonna show up, right or wrong or indifferent. So you kind of have to be as particular as I'm being right now. All right. And let me just do this. I want you to be perfectly centered in there. This is kind of, I know I'm getting crazy here, but I actually think I know how to fix what's bothering me about this. And I think it will be a quick fix, if you will bear with me to make my logo right. It's like we're getting crazy now. But this, you know, I was saying yesterday, I said, oh, it's sometimes you have to do things a couple of times. Sometimes you have to walk away from it for a second to get it right. This one's going to be a little bit different. Difficult, more difficult, not different, just a little bit more difficult to fix. I think my problem was with this V. It was too much. The V was too tall, and I kept trying to make it work. And sometimes, whoops, not what I want to do. Sometimes it's just not going to work, right? No, no, I did something wrong here. Okay. Fuck you. Ugh. Where on earth is that going to? All right. Now I got you, I think. All right, there we go. All right. I was missing closing off a path, and it was kind of messing it up. So now I've given myself a little bit more space. to make the name bigger. Whoops. Which was really my problem all along, was I was like, man, that name, it's just, oh, it's still getting stuck, it's still getting lost. Rah. Oh, boo. Hold on. Oh, oops. So many things grouped. So many things not grouped. There, now that stands out way more. All right. And I still, the V, it still has the coffee cup to it. In all honesty, I would probably straighten out this one, but I've spent enough time on this part. For sure. Oh, my coffee's running outside of it just a little bit. All right. So let's grab everything and bring it into a new document. It's for you. I'm going to get rid of that white circle in the background because that white circle was not part of my logo. So I'm going to make sure, first off, all your fonts are turned to outlines. Then I'm going to group it. Then, and this is probably the most important part, when I scale this, I need to make sure that I scale everything proportionally, because if you screw up on the scaling of your own logo, no one is ever going to have the scale correct. So use the scale tool. You can just hit the letter S, or it's actually located right here on the taskbar, toolbar, and then just hit enter. Make sure it's on uniform scale. You can do a preview. I'm gonna preview, there we go. I'm gonna make this like 800%, or hold down shift, but some people have a hard time with, you know, the holding down shift, like it doesn't work all the time. So I've set this up on an 8x8 an 8x8 artboard. Oh, that's why I couldn't connect them. There's the rogue one. I was like, why on earth is this not working? There we go. Oops. And again, when you scale it big, you're going to see if there's any imperfections in your line work. So it's really good to check that. And then when you scale it small, you're going to see if you can still read the type. So what do we need for this? We need logo in black and white, logo in grayscale, logo in CMYK, and logo in RGB. So I have this set up as CMYK. So my CMYK, I am going, I'm going to make my grayscale and my black and white on this from my CMYK document. So I'm going to select this. It's all grouped. I'm going to hit my Option key and just start to drag over into my other artboard. And that, when I let go, that makes the copy. Hold down my Option key, drag over. There we go. So from my CMYK, I am going to make my grayscale by going up into Object, or sorry, Edit, Edit Colors, Convert to Grayscale. And you have an option here to look at this and say, I think I need to kind of adjust the grayscale just a little bit because the two grays are too close to each other. And I am going to do that. And the reason why I say you have that option is that, you know, this is, you know, you're stating what the grayscale version of your logo is. So I'm going to bump it up to 40% right there, just to give it a little bit more contrast. And then I also need to have the black and white version. So this one I am going to manually do. So I'm going to go back in, make this white, make these black. I'm going to ungroup it really quick. Make these black. So you want to make sure that, and then I'll group it again. So you want to make sure there's no color left in this. And I am going to save this as assignment. I'm going to make an art folder. I'm going to call this Logo 3 Up. CMYK, G for grayscale or gray, BW for black and white. Then from here, I'm going to grab my color one, and I'm going to create a new document. This time I only need one artboard. I'm going to make it the same size. And under my color settings, I'm going to save it to RGB. I'll hit create, paste it in RGB, and I'm going to go to edit colors, and I'm going to convert to RGB just in case, because you did copy the CMYK over, and it's one of those things where it's like, just in case that it didn't, you know, copy it as an RGB, you know, color scheme, I'm gonna go in and edit the colors to RGB. And then this one I will save as Logo 1 Up RGB. And close it out. And close it out. And go to my checklist. So I have logo in black and white, logo in grayscale. I have CMYK. I need to make those. Oh, I need to make my color swatches. So best way, I'm just going to close this. Let's save. Best way to make your color swatches, honestly, is from your colored logo. So this is my my RGB one. I am going to make a new library, and I'm going to call it Victor Allen Logo Mod 4. And create, and I'm going to just drop in my color swatches. So come on. Oh, I hate when they do this. You. Cancel. Swatch. Come on. I always change the way you do it. Know what it is it's different from program to program. Like I can drag it in the other program, and I always forget where I'm at. I want you to add to my library. Thank you. Okay. So you gotta drag it onto the swatches panel. From the swatches panel, double click, add it to your library, and make sure it's a library selected. So that way it will show up, and see how it's giving me the RGB breakdown? That way it will show up when I go into InDesign. And even this scale back color. So drag it onto my swatches, double click, add it to my library, hit OK. There we go. And drag it to my swatches, double click, add to my library, hit OK. You used to be able, I could have sworn, to drag from here into the library, but I think you can do that in InDesign. I complain all the time to Adobe, and I'm like, can you please get on the same page and make the libraries work the same between your programs? All right, so I want to create a group. Switch to view by group. That's, all right, that's done. Oh, wait a minute. If you have it selected over here, you can go to the plus sign. Oh, again, not very intuitive. Oh well, it's in there. I wanted to try to put these into a group. Add selected item. Wow. All right. Again, not very intuitive. So these are my RGB swatches. Oh, Adobe. I'll save that. And open up my other ones. And from here, I can say fill color, add fill color, add fill color, select them, right click, add selected items to a group, new group, CMYK swatches. I just want things to be organized. And then I'm going to do the same thing for my grayscale ones, because I think it's important to label your grayscale for your users. And I'm going to change the 8% to 10%, honestly, because 8% is kind of a bizarre percentage. So it's more, it makes more sense for my users who are using my logos. 1, 2. Right click, add to a group, create a group, name it grayscale swatches. Oops. I'm going to edit this. Oh, it won't let me edit the name. That's right. Rename group. I'm going to rename my group 40 and then 10, so that way I remember. So I don't have to go back in and color drop. And then this should be, I'm going to change this to 100% for this one, because that's weird also, you know, 91%. And add to group grayscale swatches. I wonder if you can drag. You can drag. This, again, that's kind of weird. And save you. And I don't my black and white are just black and white. It's 100% because your black and white logo can't have any shades of gray, just 100%. All right. So I have my logo with the color swatches. I need to label these things, but at least I have them done in Illustrator so I can move on to my InDesign document. So in InDesign, I want to set this up. I don't want to do an 8.5 by 11 page. You know, I want to do something kind of fun, you know, like something big where if people are looking at it online, it's a nice big page that they can look at that'll nicely fill the screen. So I'm gonna be kind of crazy and do a 25 by 15 size document, and I'm gonna make it 10 pages, and I'm going to make it maybe 5 columns. So each column's about, you know, roughly 5 inches. I do want it to have a bleed. So add that in, just a 0.125, your standard bleed. And I'll leave my margins. I'm gonna have, because it's such a large document, I'm actually gonna have a pretty large margin. I'm gonna go with 3/4 of an inch and create. Perfect. And just close you guys out right now. Oh, I need my new, I like to work in Essentials Classic workspace because I'm a creature of habit and I don't like how they keep changing things around. It bothers me. So if you're like that as well, you may like working in Essentials Classic mode, where it's got your pages, your layers, everything that you need, you know, right there. Hold on one moment. Just had to walk across and turn on the heat down here in my office. It was supposed to be warm today, and it's not warm at all, which makes me mad. All right, I also need to find the original version of that Victor Allen coffee logo because I don't have it. You guys have your original version, so I just have to find a bad, I don't know if I'll be able to find a vector. Let's see. I'm going to show you a little trick. If you're ever trying when you're out in the field as a graphic designer and they're like, oh, can you just kind of find that logo for us, and you know you need it for a print piece and you need it high res, if you put in a Google search for file type and then colon PDF, no spaces, a lot of times you can find the PDF files for things and it will have the logos in there. Possibly. Not found. Sounds about right. So that's my little trick. Oh well. There's no sense looking around. I'll just use I'll just use the one from the website. All right. Which, here's the thing too, is I'm remaking this logo for them, so there's a really good chance, like, you know, I might have had to remake it because they didn't have a vector version of their logo. I've had to do that so many times. So our assignment is calling this a like a logo sheet. So you can call it that if you would like. You know, name your company like so-and-so's logo sheet. I want to pull up my CC library and put my color swatches in. Oh, here it is. I'm going to put them in a group so they don't get mixed up with these weird ones, the default ones. I wonder if it will let me add all of these. And yeah, it just was like, I know you made a group, but whatever. There we go. I'm going to delete these swatches that I'm not using. And it's okay, obviously, if you have CMYK RGB swatches, because we have to have the RGB swatch for this. So just kind of keep that in mind. All right, I am going to, but if you're colorizing something other than your specific RGB swatches that you need to colorize, I would suggest that you use your CMYK swatches. And so I'm going to move all my RGB swatches together, and I'm actually going to put them in their own group. So that way I don't accidentally use them. All right. And if you're doing something with the bleed, here you go from bleed line to bleed line. All right. And you need to have a master page. So I am going to have a master page that's actually going to be pages 2 through 10. And my reasoning behind that is I want to have a similar layout on all of those pages. So I am going to do new master page on page 1 because that's going to be my cover. And then 2 through 10 will have the master page A. So I'm going to open up this. And I'm going to place my colored logo first because I want to make sure that I have the logo that I'm actually using on every single page, you know, just so that way it's there. And I'm kind of designing this on the fly. I haven't thought through this. Oh, maybe that nice brown, because I was talking about that brown. Maybe that can be the background to make the logo stand out. Where was that? Or this peach. Let's try. Oh, I had saved that color scheme. That's right. Haha. I'm going to drag my swatches out. Here we go. So I'm going to add theme to swatches. And even the, really? No. Add theme to swatches. Okay. So even though I said CMYK, it still saves them as RGB. Good to know. So let me change that to CMYK. Maybe I'll have it like a gradient or something. Where's my gradient? Ugh. Go. Drop that in there. Kind of reminds me of a frothy coffee, right? And the font I had used, I'm going to use the same font that I had downloaded for my logo throughout. So going to create a paragraph style that has that font, which was begin with a G, if I'm correct. Gibbs, that's what it was. I'll go with light. And I'm going to give it that dark blue color. Just okay for now. And we'll see. We'll see if that works. And I need to put my name. and logo sheet. Very nice. Really like that font. So this will now be on every single page. So let me check my pages and see, you know, here is page 1, 2, 3. All right. So for page 1, where I didn't have that set up that way, what I am going to do, I think, is just put, you know, logo Victor Allen. Whoa. Hello. All right, you guys, that was bizarre. Oh, it did show that it logged me out. My computer has been acting very weird lately, which is not fun. So I'm just gonna put maybe this color. All right, so maybe I'll do something like no. It's too much. It's too much. I like to preview things, you know, like without all of the boxes around it to see. I'm okay with that. And I'll put my name smaller. Over here. Line it up at the bottom of that. I like things to be very nicely aligned. All right, and save this, save and save often. Almost forgot. Sometimes I'll just start working and things like, you know, my computer going to the login screen will happen. So copy and paste that saving the file naming convention. And your logo sheets should be professional. Like I said, you know, don't just throw everything on and say, well, here's the black and white, here's this, and there's no design at all to my logo sheet. You really need to have this professionally laid out. I should know what each page is as well, because your client might not know what they're looking at. You know, they don't understand what CMYK swatches are or RGB swatches or the difference. So you really need to label each sheet as well. All right. Or yeah, each page. All right, so here's my before and after. Got my after, so I'll bring it down. And maybe I'll run this white bar. With a little drop shadow. Where's my line tools? There we go. And make a new, name this labels. And this will be page headlines. I'll make a copy of that and put the old logo down here. And the reason why I have the after, maybe I'll put, it's like I want the after to stand out more. So I might even, I think I'll probably close this bar down. There. So I've got my before and after. Oh, my title bar needs to say my name and the client's name. So let me go back in to my master page. That's the great thing about master pages, because you can fix it. Oh, it does say the client's name. Never mind. My name and the client's name. I'm good. Original logo clearly marked before or existing logo. All right, next I need my logo in CMYK with color swatches shown as a key, or RGB with my color swatches. But I'm thinking I want there to be a logic to this. So I think what I'm going to do is I think I'm going to do my color logo first, 1, 3, and 6. Then on the next page, I'm going to do the CMYK logo with the swatches, the RGB logo with the swatches. Then I'm going to do my black and white logo, 1, 3, and 6. And then I'll do my black and white logo shown on a dark background. And then I'll do my logo in grayscale. All right, I'm gonna, even though it's not here, it says color and black and white logo in these sizes. I think I'm gonna do the grayscale in these sizes as well, because remember how I said you can have as many pages as you want. It has to be at least 10 pages, and you have to have at least these things. So I just want my layout to be consistent. So copy this. I'm gonna do a paste in place. Whoops. Paste in place on this page. All right, so I'm gonna say color. No. And I don't know if they have ligature, the better hyphens, I guess, or open quotes. Where's my quick key for that? Oh, option. No, it's pretty much the same. Oh, well, no, I guess it does change a little. Ah, what the heck? That's some weird hotkey thing going on over here. I'm gonna say color, yeah, color logo 1, 3, and 6. All right. So now when you are placing this, the 1 inch, 3 inch, 6 inch, that should be the height, honestly. So place your logo first. And then change the height on the box and then fit it into that height. See what I'm, see? So I've got 1 inch, and you might have to change your width for the larger ones. 3 inch. Oops. I hold down Option, by the way, in drag. That's how I make my copies. 6 inch. This one I'm definitely gonna have to. And I want to stagger these. And again, I'm going to use my white box from up here. I'm just going to make a copy so it's consistent. And make sure you label them as well. Line. So 1-inch logo. Object. Where are you? Text frame options. There we go. I want to vertically justify it in the center so my text is in the center of my text box. I'm going to do that for this one too. Three-inch logo. And 6-inch logo. I'm going to stack my 1-inch and my 3-inch logos. Me. Need a little bit more space. Oh, drag my alignment out. There we go. Sometimes you have to just kind of look at it to, you know, visually align something. And save it again. I'm saving after each page, just in case. All right, so now I want this layout for all of them. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab all the items on this page. I'm going to copy it and go down to this page and go down to this page, and I'm going to paste in place. And this is going to be my black and white logo. And then down here, paste in place. And my grayscale logo. Maybe move logo. Not like it really matters, but I'll just label that this is the CMYK version. All right. Down here, I'm going to select this, and you'll notice how I have show import options. I'm going to hit open, and I'm going to go over to page 3 and put in the black and white one. That's on the 3rd artboard, which was how I had it set up. And again, see, now I know that my layout is consistent because I'm copying the existing layout from page to page. And by saying to paste in place, it's putting it in the same spot on each page. And change it to my grayscale one. And all right, so let's see. I have logo in grayscale, logo in black and white, color logo shown, black and white logo shown. So next I need logos in on a dark background. And I need the color keys. So let me. So I am going to do, I'm going to grab all of this again. Ugh. Like you have to be scrolled down just enough. There we go. I'm going to say, I am going to keep this at these sizes and change my white background to the dark background. And remember, the dark background is not a black background. So I am going to do like 60% and change that color to white. Oh, did I miss one up here? Oh, I did. Missed this grayscale one. And this is supposed to be color. And copy that. And my black and white logo, which I'm going to do BW for that. And again, I'll just tab over to page 3. And save. Okay, so I've got logo in black and white on a dark background, logo in color on a dark background. Next, I need to do all of my color swatches. So I'm also going to do the grayscale one. So let me grab this page. I'm gonna say CM. CMYK swatches. I'm going to remove the word after. And I'm going to move this guy up here. I'm going to do my 3 swatches here. So I have my swatches. 1, 2, 3. I'm going to make 3 nice blocks. Ooh, I will have to move this down. Group you guys. All right, so you'll notice that it gives you the CMYK breakdown in your swatch palette, which is great. So you can just use that. So cyan is equal to 90, whoops. Magenta is equal to 56. Stop hitting enter. Yellow is equal to 4, and black is equal to 35. So that's that one. For this one, cyan is, come on. 19, 3, 4, and 0. Oh, whoops. Hold on. This one was 35 yellow, 27. Just realized it was running off the page. And this one is 81, 3, 17, and 0. So my CMYK swatches. Copy this. Next I have RGB swatches. And for these ones, you should also give the hex code. So it should be R is equal to, B is equal to, G is equal to, and then the number with the hex code, which you can get easy enough. Hold on one sec. I'll show you how to do that. Let me just put in 153. Oh, whoops. Looking at the wrong one. 23. 52, 81. And the hex code for this is, click on it right here, copy that. And for this one, $206, $229, $231. Click off. Here's that hex code. Open up the text box a little bit. And 50, 170, 179. And here's your hex code. And make sure that you go in and you recolor the swatches with the RGB swatches as well. So here's this one, because they're a little bit different. And make sure you have the RGB logo. RGB swatches are always a little bit different. I'm going to add another page. And this one will be my grayscale swatches, because I had said I wanted to do that. Oh, here they are. I was like, where are my grayscale swatches? Or my swatches in general? Why did it do them? Oh, did I not add them? That's what it was. So I made all of those lovely groups, and it didn't bring the groups over. Really? What good is that? So it was 40 and 20, I believe. All right, it's either way. It's black, 40, and 10. That's what it was. And what I'm going to do is K is equal to 100%. K is equal to 40%. K is equal to 10%, because K is our black. And save. And I'm actually going to make one more page, and I'm going to have just the logo on the back page, like to end the booklet in a way. So it's going to mirror the cover. So we'll go to pages. I'm gonna, whoops, wrong button. Jeez, save. Duplicate page. That should be an option. No? So you can duplicate the whole spread, but I can't duplicate one page. That makes no sense. All right. And page 12. And get rid of logo sheet. I'm just going to have the logo. Oh, I got my quick key for that. Maybe let's down at the bottom. Because ultimately, it's not about me. It's about the logo for the client. All right, and save. And let's preview this real quick. Because we're running out of time. So I've got my front page. I have my before and after. You can consult my checklist. Yes, yes, yes. I have my color logo 1, 3, and 6 labeled. Make sure you label my black and white logo 1, 3, and 6. My grayscale. This is bothering me. And this is bothering me. '86. All right, let me fix that style. There we go. My grayscale logo, 1, 3, and 6. My color logo on a dark background. I purposely have done it at the small, the medium, and the large size so you can see how the logo represents itself on a dark background at those sizes. I think that's important. And still having it labeled as well. This label's kind of big. It's kind of throwing me off though. Honestly, it really doesn't need to be that big. 30-point type is completely fine. It's like larger than it really needs to be. There we go. Black and white logo on a dark background. What did I miss? Black and white. Grace. Color logo, dark background. Black and white logo. Oh, I missed the grayscale logo on a dark background. That's what it is. Hold on. Made the page and then I didn't put it on there. There we go. And again, this isn't on your sheet, but I'm trying to go for consistency. So that's why I'm adding it. Because I have, you know, color, black and white, grayscale. Color, black and white, grayscale. CMYK, RGB, grayscale. And then my back page, which gives me 12 pages total. All right, so now I'm going to make a PDF of this. I am going to make one with my crop and bleed marks so I can see it, but then I'm going to make a high quality print as well, and that's what I would upload. You don't have to upload the one with the crops and bleed marks. It's just good practice, honestly. I'm going to name this one crop mark. Export. And then I'm going to do high quality print so it is cropped, because that's kind of distracting to send your client the one with the crop and bleed marks. They're like, well, they'll always ask you, what's this, when the color bar and the crop marks, they get confused. And then here's something else you can do, which I think would be cool, is you can publish it online and then make a little flip book of it. I think that this is just, it's not a requirement, but it's a great thing to do. I'm going to title it Victor Allen Logo Redesign Booklet. And click publish. Because if you want to show your client, now you can send them a link and they can share it with other people. You know, it's pretty cool. And you can give them the option to download it too. Watch, it's going to get stuck at like 94%. All right. So again, this is pretty cool because now I have this little book that I can flip through. And this would be something really nice, you know, to share with my client. There we go. You can get a little share as well. And, you know, to share with your FPA, that would be really cool. You can click to get the share link, and I don't know. I just think it's, you know, that little extra thing that you can do. All right, does anybody have any questions before we end for today? And don't forget, your assessment for this week is a quiz. All right, well, I hope everybody has a great week. I can't wait to see your finished products for your logos with the color and everything else, and your logo sheets. You know, have fun with it this week. And if you have any questions or concerns, please email me. Make sure that you get in with the learning coaches if you need some help. And like I said, have a great week. All right, bye everyone.